What have you explained to them? For the many people that are likely watching.
We've got two so far. I've explained that this is my first time playing. I don't know if I haven't really introduced you guys yet, so we can do that in a second. But no, not a whole lot. So if you want to explain some stuff, feel free. Go ahead.
Okay. So, to the two people here, hello, thank you.
Hello.
We're playing a tabletop game without an actual tabletop called Dungeons and Dragons. It's a pen and pencil and paper and other things beginning with P to do with stationery tabletop RPG.
Will not Kobe Clips.
Primarily focuses on like role playing and stuff, and we're just going to play super loose, super fast, and just try to introduce some people I've never played before, and some people that played a little bit. Going to play some D&D over the power of the internet, and hopefully have a good time with it, I should imagine. Yeah, go on.
As Kobe Clips is asking, the DM is the Brit.
Hey, it's me. I'm a DM.
Yes, the Dungeon Master is our boy Chap Jackman.
Hey,
We imported a real British voice actor.
hey, it's me. I'm a voice actor.
So the
Forget
DM is
about
Jack.
it.
We also are joined by Retromation, who is over here. He is not the best,
Hello.
contrary to what his table says. And we've got Mr. Maskey, our resident Canadian. We're playing a game of Dungeons and Dragons across 3 different time zones, 3 different countries, 2 different continents, and 1 ocean in between it all. How exciting, you know? How exciting.
Generally, how D&D works, I as the DM, I know somebody's already asked, but I'm basically like a referee / like rules guy. I'll try to say yes as often as I can, like a true improv offside, like a true improv comedian. You just go with whatever like is happening around you. But you know, if someone's trying to, I don't know, say for example, go back in time and fornicate with their own mother to prevent their own birth, that's something maybe I won't allow.
Roll for Philip J. Fry.
Woo! So you know, let's just keep that in mind.
You won't allow me to erase my stuff?
No, not maybe in the future if you get a wish spell at like 18th level, maybe.
All right, so I guess we're just about ready. Before we start, I think we should all introduce our characters.
Yep, that's a good idea.
We'll go. Actually, no, we're not going to start with Maskey because he didn't even remember his name. Retromation, do you want to introduce your character?
Yes.
Do it.
Are we? Should we like not go super in depth?
Just a meeting, sort of introduce yourself. Who are you?
How long have you been an alcoholic?
So
I'm
that's a
addicted
rig
to trees because I'm a forest gnome, and I have an albino squirrel companion, and I like to party.
What's the squirrel's name?
Not lore. What was that?
What was the squirrel's name?
Daisy.
Daisy the squirrel.
Based off of a real squirrel.
Oh.
The end.
That's how deep all this goes.
You'll figure it out. I'm mysterious. That's part of it.
Right. Okay, so we've got Rigbin, the forest gnome, escaping from something. Who knows? We have me. I am playing the high elf wizard Aristo. He was more or less exiled from his homeland during a war a long time ago, and he's just in it for the kicks. He's lived so long that he gets all of his joy now from just finding stuff that's new. Because you know, when you're old, you've seen it all. So he's decided to be an adventurer now because that looks like fun. All right, and now you, Maskey.
Oh. Hello, everybody. My name's Albin. Oh.
That's it.
That's all I remember.
I don't remember.
I'm good at sneaking, and I have daddy issues.
So, human ranger with daddy issues, yeah?
I was once a pirate.
Hey.
Briefly. During your formative years.
Short stint in my life.
How's the music, by the way,
So
guys?
human ranger with daddy issues.
Or the audio in general.
Used to be a pirate.
Yes.
There you go. What a story, folks. Give it up for all these people. Wow.
How have we all come together despite our different backstories? Only Jack knows right now. Only
That's
Jack.
up to me, hey. Right. So
Who did the son and mom on the 2 different?
That was me.
to be fair, it's upside down to me. So one of them says "wow" and the other one says "what." So I'm not really sure what's going on there, but it's perfect.
No music, audio is fine.
Okay.
That'll be
Hey.
some story. The sea serpents. gonna go on in the background.
I'm actually just gonna.
Wow and us.
I'm just gonna turn
Such
off
good
music
names.
for now. Just
Right.
for now.
So, you folks are all newborn adventurers. You've decided for one reason or another to try and travel through the world and to actually go to what I've decided to call sort of like an adventurers convention being hosted in many places around the world. But this year it's settling on the wonderful place known as Slothbog Docks. At these docks, you sort of enter off this like wooden platform, and everybody coming individually has entered this just mass of people. It's just a genuine crowd of fresh-faced adventurers with barely any money to their name, just trying to pick up the last few things before they go off on their own adventure. Hopefully trying to find other like-minded people and, to be able to explore a whole new venture for their own lives. So around you sort of walk into this big circular courtyard, and individually you sort of wander around, just little wooden stalls, the types you'd find on RuneScape you can steal cakes from, that sort of thing. That's a joke for people like video games, yes. So all around you see just different nettings and other bits and pieces, lots of like bright colours to attract the eye, and a big banner running across the middle of the town that just said Adventurers Convention. And you're all just sort of wandering around. Haven't really seen each other yet, so, does anyone want to have a look around, ask for some directions, ask for what's going on?
So we're in the town. What was the name of it again?
It is the Slothbog Docks.
Slothbog Docks. Okay. How big is the city roughly, in terms of just population density, kinda?
Okay, right. Let
So
me just get out
so
all
that
my
I
geography cards.
so that I can have an idea of like how
Jesus.
crowded the city streets are, right? Like
What's the sea level like in this?
what's the atmospheric pressure right about now in the south end? No, I mean like if I'm walking
Snacks.
Real good.
like if I'm walking down Main Street, right? How many people is it? Just going to be a few people and a couple of sort of shops, or is it kind of bustling?
Oh, it's bustling, baby. It's a convention. Bustling. It's a convention that there's people everywhere. Some people dressed up as elves, even though they're not really elves. And
That is incredibly racist and offensive to me.
Ron, what race are you? Is that racist?
I'm a high elf.
High elf.
Hi, okay.
Oh, you think you're better than all the other elves?
Yeah.
Mostly because we are, but that's besides the point.
Whoa!
Well, I'm just saying.
To shine through.
Wait.
Making good notes. Aristo is racist. Racist.
I didn't mean to
Line
say
that one
that.
twice. If it gets worse, I'll add more.
I forgot. I'm supposed to be. I totally forgot. I'm supposed to be in character right now. Aristo's not racist.
Oh no, it's too late. It's on the paper.
Okay.
It's real. It's canon.
All right, so is there anywhere that we can get like alcoholic beverages in this town?
Oh, is that? Yes, there is.
It's 10 in the morning.
There. Mexico, I don't care. I got a rough life.
That is true. That is true.
It's my dad. He's
Are we
great.
assuming we have met each other at this point?
Oh no.
No.
Not yet.
Okay, I'm going to the tavern.
Are we
By the tavern. Okay.
are we roughly on the same kind of area of town?
Yeah, you're in
Like-
just a big circular courtyard. It seems to just be stone, and then everywhere else seems to just be cut off by like wood, holding you all in this big circle.
Just
Okay.
off character, real quick.
Uh huh.
My girlfriend asked what I'm doing, and I said that I'm doing a Dungeons and Dragons stream with some friends. And then she said, "What?" I'm like, "We're streaming a board game." And she's like, "You were 10 times hotter before you said Dungeons and
I love it.
Asky's audio is really low.
I can fix that.
Wake
Hold
up,
on.
boy.
Make me louder.
Okay, so in an effort to progress the story, I'm interested in finding out just kind of what's happening. I guess I've just kind of blown into town. I find the most interesting person that I can see just based off of their physical appearance, and I say, "Excuse me, excuse me, is there anything interesting happening in town?"
This is a small, sort of very slender dwarf. You sort of tap on the shoulder gingerly, and she sort of spins around, and she's just like, just wait, it's so busy.
Why is it so busy? Is it not normally so?
This is the biggest year we've had in so long. There's so many people from so many places,
Where are they all coming from?
all over.
All right, bye.
That's how most things go in D&D. So this little dwarf scurries off into just a sea of people and seems to be walking towards a big stage at the very centre where the big banner's running across the Adventurers Convention.
Okay, well, I go towards the stage. I follow the dwarf lady.
Okay, so you sort of saunter on up to this wooden platform. It almost looks like a gallows that had been repurposed just for this
no.
event. There's nothing ominous. No rope hanging around here. It's all fine. The hemp lies on the floor. So this sort of tiny little dwarf lady sort of like hops up onto the stage and runs along to the middle to this like undersized lectern, and she stands above and goes, and all of a sudden her eyes begin to sparkle a bright color, and her voice begins to be projected throughout the sea of people. And she says, "Greetings, adventurers! Welcome all to the 271st Adventurers Convention."
Yay!
I can't clap with push to talk. This is my face.
Hey!
That's true.
Your face can clap? Okay. Oh, so many of you are here. I've not seen so many in so many years. But I'd like to thank you all for coming. Please, everyone, remember you have a complimentary hot squirrel dog.
No!
Over the corner.
I immediately bolt towards the hot squirrel dog.
You and like 100 other people start rushing towards the corner.
I'm over by the stand, brigading everybody to not eat these squirrel dogs.
You're like someone from
Freddy's
Pizza.
still with you.
I love it. Is he like sat on your shoulder being really angry?
Yes.
Or mortified.
Does the squirrel have a name, by the way?
Daisy.
Oh, you did say that, and I didn't write it down because I'm an idiot. There we go. Daisy. Put stars around it. Thank you all for coming. Thank you all. I'd like to welcome you all first and foremost to this wonderful place, and thank you to the government of Slothbog for welcoming us this year. Another round of applause sort of comes over a couple of people, and yeah, there you go. Just a nice little slow one. My name is Annetto, and I've organised this event for as long as I can remember. I used to be this tall. She sort of raises her hand, and it's like barely higher than her shoulder. Doesn't seem like she's grown very much at all, ever. She sort of stands and tries to welcome everybody to where, you are on this seemingly hot day. The sun's beaming down, and then everybody's surrounded by all these like old bits of teak and wood. And she continues on. I hope you all managed to find some new friends this day, and also, perhaps, a new guild, if that is how you are inclined to be here. Don't forget that upon each of these different stalls lies someone with something to say and something to sell, and often something to sing. So please enjoy yourself. Track me down if you have any questions. And of course, enjoy! And once again, everybody, some people now with like hot squirrel dogs in their hand begin to sort of clap, mouth like, and everyone's like, yay!
I slurp in the tail that I was munching on and start clapping even harder.
You just vomit, was that?
I vomit.
Okay.
I mean, I'm not at this ceremony because I'm at the bar.
That's fine. You sort of off at the back.
I'll get another drink, please.
Yeah, the bar falls like deadly quiet as people sort of like rush out to see this like talk, and people start to filter back in once it's finished, and you're sort of sat there with just like 2 flagons of like grog, like just sat there just like real happy that you had this bar to yourself for a brief moment of respite from the day.
So peaceful.
You just hear like a faint voice like in the background from like this woman talking, and the occasional like woo, and then he dies down again. You just have another sip. So yeah, she seems to just be encouraging people to walk around, talk to each other, get to know one another. What do you folks want to do? Do you want to go to the tavern, have a drink? Do you want to continue vomiting?
Noticing that
I
there,
don't want to continue.
noticing a small-looking little green boy vomiting on the street. I walk. My philanthropic nature takes over, and I wander over to make sure that he's okay, and to make sure that he's not contagious.
Okay, so with squirrel dog in hand, you sort of like
half of a squirrel dog in hand.
Yeah. Another part like just like dribbling out your mouth with squirrel juices. And you see like a short
I
gnome.
vomit thrice.
No less than thrice. Can you tell you what? Let's start it off strong. Rigbin, could you do just roll a d20 for me and add your con mod?
Yep. Hold on.
It's all good.
Oh my god. How do I do?
What you gotta do is you click the d20, or you hover over it and press F or R, or you can just pick it up and throw it.
17. Oh no, never mind. Okay. I was like, ah. And then Constitution modifier.
Yep.
It's 2.
It's not
So you got a 17 there.
Nazi
so, yeah.
tea. It's just
you think to
artistic.
yourself, I'm going to vomit thrice. and it happens. You just sort of stand, this very tall elf man coming towards you, you're like small gnomish stature, with the little squirrel on your shoulder, arms crossed, staring like, angrily at him, and you just like, all over the floor. And then once again, much to the disgust of the incoming elf. What would you like to say to him, Aristo?
I say, are you all right? Keeping my distance, trying to, avoid the 3 puddles on the ground.
I think it's 4 now, doesn't it?
It is 4 now. It is up to 4.
All 4 puddles
They
I'm
are
trying
getting
to...
progressively smaller and smaller because I have progressively less and less in my body.
I thought that you were saying like they were evaporating. No, okay, so I walk up to you and ask you, I say, what's the tizzy? Why are you so sick, little boy?
I mean, you guys are... You see the squirrel on my shoulder. It should be quite obvious why I'm quite sick by your actions. Is it not?
No.
Well, all right. Let me explain it to you. Squirrel dog made a squirrel, or so I presume. I like squirrels. You're eating things.
I love squirrel.
I feel like we like them in a different way, a much different way. And you suck for eating them.
Well, that's rather...
Someone in the background while you're just having this discussion just shouts, "Furry!" at you as you're talking about loving squirrels in a different way.
What's he say? Freak?
Furry!
Oh, furry.
Yep.
I giggle at that.
I'm not sure what that is, but it sounds like something my village would be into.
Perfect. So, one of them's racist, the other one's a furry. Yep.
Okay, so oh wait, hold on. 2 seconds, I gotta check my cantrips.
Okay.
Dang it. Okay, I use light to cast a quick little ball of light in his face so that he doesn't see me scarf down the rest of the squirrel dog, and then say...
You got to attach light to something.
I attach it to the squirrel dog.
I appreciate your discretion.
And swallow it, so that he doesn't really see the squirrely aspect of it, he just sees me swallow a ball of light.
Descending down your throat. I just like sore in your stomach.
I'm so sorry if I caused you any distress. Why are you here? You seem to be quite few adventurers here.
First of all, thank you for the bare minimum of accommodation.
You're quite welcome.
You. Second, while I'm here for the convention. I'm kind of all bored with my life because I ran away from home and it's all hard out here and stuff. And
do your parents know?
Hell no.
Why not?
Well, my mom's dead for one.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Was she a squirrel?
Two, no. I wish. That would mean she'd be alive. But my dad,
not if she was my squirrel
I ran away from him. He has no idea where I am.
All right, see you later, Spot. Thank you very much for tuning in, dude.
So no, they don't.
Rigbin, could you do a perception check for me?
D20?
D20, you'll have a perception score as well. It'll be related to your wisdom, unless you have proficiency in it, but it should be on your chart somewhere.
+2.
Okay. Didn't actually see your roll, because I'm an idiot.
12.
Hey, so yeah, you sort of, as you're talking about your father, you see like another gnome in the crowd that you assume is him, just very briefly. And then he sort of like turns to look at you as you've like screamed dad at him.
I duck.
Turns out it's actually just a really small gnomish woman with a very masculine face and a tiny like soul patch on her chin. Just weirdly. That's all.
How odd. Okay, so I would like to. Okay, so I turn to you, Rigbin. I say, well, it seems like since we're both here to partake in the festival, why don't we go together? You seem like you're on your own. I'm on my own. Let's make a party of it.
I will, under one condition.
Yes, I'm listening.
You must eat no more squirrel dogs in front of my best friend Daisy here. At least while we're together. Is this a hard ask?
I'm trying to think of the possibilities and future circumstance, but yes, I will not eat
Okay.
Daisy's kind. Did you say your name yet?
Yes.
Okay. I will not eat Daisy's kind in front of her.
That's.
Hi,
I
Werewolf
can
Gaming.
live
Welcome
with
back to
that
the
for
stream.
now. We'll work on the rest.
All right. Where would you like to go? I'm a bit new to this town, so I don't really know where much is.
I would like to go to the tavern because that would make sense.
Yes, I also agree that this would be in our best interest in pursuance of the. Let's go.
So suddenly, you two join together in a standoffish manner involving squirrels and potentially furries. You sort of begin to walk towards the tavern as this like parchness begins to descend down your throat. As one of you just thrown up violently all along this beautiful stonework, and the other one's just got long legs and it makes him thirsty when he walks. Probably.
Which one's which?
I'm not sure. I've forgotten already.
We'll figure it out.
Stinks of vom.
So you sort of like wade through the sea of people like it was any given concert you were at, and you sort of like bob and sort of move around. It seems that Rigbin's having a much easier job doing it, as he can like weave between people's legs, and then Aristo's trying to catch up with his long wispy form.
I'm quite lanky.
Good addition.
Say randomly?
Just like you like shout it down somebody's ear.
Exactly.
Just like, what?
To
Haven't been talking for the whole walk, and then you just see it out of nowhere.
To every 10th passerby, I say so.
I'm quite lanky. I'm quite lanky.
And I'm quite stout.
So you two eventually just reach this like small like pop-up wooden cabin that just has like just pig's blood with the word tavern just inscribed over the top of the door. And it's just open. There isn't anything on any of the hinges. It's just a big open room with a few people scattered throughout, and then a very gregarious, sort of like grizzled looking ranger staring away from you with just two flagons soon to be emptied in either hand.
Drink.
Oh, 10th drink deep. He's struggling a little bit. But can you do a con check for me as well, which is roll a d20 and add your constitution modifier. This is for you, Elvin.
Werewolf, I've got push to talk on, so you don't have to worry about interrupting.
D20 is the big one.
We are playing Dungeons and Dragons.
Same.
Sides.
I'll tell you where I've been in a little bit.
They're the same.
This
The one with the most sides.
This one.
Ellen, you got it. Don't worry, I'm with you. Hey, add your con mod.
That's 1.
Okay, so you've got an 8. You're feeling kind of woozy. You seem to have come for one reason and you're just staying for another. Something to do with like, I don't know, just straight up grog or some sort of gin you've found that you quite like. And you're feeling a little bit far gone at this point.
Good.
You're talking to the beer.
You're my best friend.
I start to hug the giant beer glass.
I wish
I
my
like that.
dad was more like you.
Ouch.
This, of course, is all
At
being
least you
whispered
don't
under
make me
Aristo's
feel-
breath.
So yeah, both Aristo and Rigbin, who is like sort of jumping to see who's in the room, just noticed this like rather loud person at the front of the bar, just like right on it, just like talking to just these little like wooden flagons, and he seems to be quite cheery with himself.
We're all meeting each other for the first time, Werewolf. Okay, you said we spotted our Elbin over there, right? We don't know his name yet, but that's who
Yep.
we've spotted.
No, yeah, that's who you spotted, yeah.
Are there any other quite as belligerently drunk people in the tavern current, or is he like by far and away the most drunk person there?
At the point that they notice me, I'm starting to hit on the female barkeep.
Okay. So in the room, there's sort of like a dwarf sat up in the corner with just like 4 empty casks of like what they call like dwarven fire water, which is a particularly potent alcohol, and he's just staring really angrily at his back, just like, this guy's way too loud. He's gone way too far. Everyone's here to have a good time. This guy's just flirting with the barmaid, and he's just staring in the back of the guy. But he's the only other person that seems to have had like any beer whatsoever, and everybody else just seems quite happy and going on with their own sort of day.
How you doing, sweet cheeks?
Oh god.
Oh my!
Tell me, is Mage Hand like a visible hand?
Yes.
if I'm careful about it, could I navigate my mage hands anywhere, like keeping it on the floor so that people don't see the disembodied hand, but still getting it where I want to go?
Yeah, you could do a sleight of hand check.
Okay, I would like to take my my mage hand and go up and like have it creep along the floor like a little robot hand, like a little spider. Have it crawl up Albin's bar stool and slap him on the butt.
Okay. Yeah, so roll a d20 and add your sleight of hand skill mod.
Let's see, sleight of hand. Let me check. I got a 14 plus.
He just disappears. Okay.
Plus 0, so I rolled a 14.
Okay, so you sort of in this muster of people and the chaos that seems to have been going on outside. You sort of muster up this spectral hand. What color is it? You can choose what color you match.
Oh, I can choose what color. I want it to be as close to the color of the floor of the tavern as possible. So probably like a kind of reddish brown.
Yeah, sure. So this redwood sort of coloured hand sort of pops out and sort of skirts along the floor like is it the Thing from the Addams Family? Sort of walking along the floor. And as it's going, you're trying to just you pop your tongue out, trying to make sure it goes in the right direction. You accidentally knock a few people's legs as you're trying to walk past them, but they don't seem to take notice. And then it grabs onto the side of the bar stool and starts just pulling itself up bit by bit, and sort of then floats ever so slightly just behind this drunk person's bar stool and winds up for an almighty thwack. Could you roll a d4 for me?
Okay. Give that back.
Okay.
I rolled a 4. Hell yeah.
All right. It
Probably.
winds up really hard and then just smacks this dude in the ass super hard. Where if you were to do it physically, your hand would sting, but they were as well. But of course, his mage hand itself just slaps, and as it does, the arcane energy that sort of constructed it just shatters and whisks away because of the force it hit this dude's ass. And Elvin, oh baby, take 4 points of damage.
Wow.
Can you even feel it? With how drunk he is?
That's a good question.
Down to 8 hit points now.
You want to slap who?
No, I said nice slap.
Oh, nice.
So, I'm obviously
Congratulations.
angry now at this point.
Okay, you're angry.
Quite angry and drunk.
Okay. Yes.
So you're crying a
I get
little
up and I turn around and I punch the closest person to me.
Okay, so you drop both of your flagons. You're just going to turn and just punch the first guy you see.
This was a mistake.
Right. Can you roll a d20 for me, just flat?
It's the time.
The one with all the sides. Yeah, you got.
Yes.
Move your hand because I got 15. Okay, yeah. So the guy next to you is like a weird dragonborn fellow. They don't have tails, don't have wings, but they're just very big, sort of metallic coloured scales. And you just sort of turn around and tap him on the chest, and as he sort of glances back around to you, just smack him square in the jaw. This dude falls into a bar stool and into his friend who catches him. But he seems a little bit dazed, but he stands back up and he's like, "What was that?"
You slapped me on the ass. Ain't that kind of convention, buddy?
Can you do an intimidation check? For
Cosplay is not consent.
me? That is something people say.
-1, I think it says.
So roll a d20 and take one off it. Oh baby! So you intimidate this guy to the point where he forgets what sort of convention he's at. And he's just "Oh, I'm sorry, dude. My bad, man." And him and his friends just sort of start to shuffle along a few feet out of your way. And you seem quite satisfied with the outcome. And you sort of pat yourself on the arse a little bit yourself, just to reassuring tap. Everything's still in
Where's my
check.
drink?
Okay, hold on. Right after that, before he can get a drink, I walk up to him and say, "Oh, hello. I couldn't help but notice that you are a bit perturbed. What seems to be the matter?"
This funny guy over here slapped me in the ass.
Did he?
Winces.
I look at him and I say, "Did he really?"
He did.
Heavens!
Aristo, could you do a persuasion check for me?
Oh no.
I'd also like to point out that I am a gnomish child and I am more intimidating.
Isn't that guy? Yeah. This like gruff adventurer.
So wait, how do I do the check? I roll something, right?
You roll a d20. Most things, to be fair, I should have said it sooner. Most things is roll a d20.
For persuasion, right?
Yep.
5 total.
Well, so you're trying to convince this drunk guy that you like someone else slapped his ass, like you're trying to roll with what is going on. But even in his drunken state, he's kind of suspicious of you, like bringing it up and being quite so forward about it. Not very convincing.
Like,
Okay.
why are you coming up to me out of nowhere?
Trying to segue past that, I say, well, look, I've been thirsting for.
He did it! It was him!
Whoa!
Oh!
Can I conjure another mage hand and slap it over Rigman's mouth real quick?
Yes, you do that.
Okay, cool. So hopefully Elvin didn't hear too much of that, and I start talking to him. I'm not going to do the voice. I'm saying to him, Elvin, I'm kind of thirsting for an adventure. I think a lot of people here are, and you look like a guy who can handle himself. I've got this little gnome guy with me. I was thinking, what about you come along with us, maybe? You seem like a guy who can handle yourself. Plus, I think it'll be fun, because I totally didn't slap you on the butt earlier. That was the other guy.
You mean you want me to go with your lanky ass and the vomit-smelling dude? You're gonna have to buy me at least another drink.
I happily oblige. Slap down a gold piece on the or copper or whatever on the table. I go, hold on, let me see if I can sound effect. I do that and get him another drink.
Foley, guys. Foley. Only the highest quality here. Let's go. So, yeah, you lose 15 silver pieces.
All right.
And the slightly flushed wench behind the bar just passes you back your change. Right, so you folks are settling into each other after witnessing each other vomit, eat animals, and then just slap each other on the behind as if we were like a sports team in any American locker room, as I'm sure the movies have told me. And you seem to slowly be bonding because someone's covering someone else's mouth, and one's kind of suspicious of the other one. Perfect team. Great job, guys. And as this like sort of chaos that you're creating is beginning to unfold, the earth beneath your feet begins to shake violently. It's sort of like a super aggressive earthquake's going on. And everything in the bar begins to rattle, and things are jingling, keys are falling on the floor, coins out of people's pockets. The slightly wincing and brush-faced Dragonborn is shaking at the knees, holding himself up against the bar.
Thank
what do you
God.
folks like to do?
I was afraid I was going to have to ask the barkeep for a quest. Okay.
Panic.
Keeping the mage hand on Rigman, I rush outside and try to see what everybody else is going to say. What just happened? What was that? Outside the tavern.
Annetto, the little dwarf lady's like, oh, everything's terrible, so much to do.
Hush, what's wrong?
She can't even hear you. She's just running sort of away from where you are at the tavern and moving back towards sort of like other buildings on the other side of the way in this little courtyard that you're sort of standing in the breast of.
Okay, I look up to the skyline to see if there's any smoke or dust anywhere in town where I could
do a perception check for me.
Perception check. Where's my 20? Rolled a 8 plus perception. Wait, is that a thing? Oh, yep. Perception is the
Skills.
Where is that? Perception P plus 9.
Okay, so you look up to the sky to try and see anything out of place, and you realise, oh, the sky's nice and blue today. Oh, that's all you've gone up.
May I make a perception check?
You can.
I'm not sure if that's enough information.
Wrong dice.
Oops. Is it? Oh.
Yeah, it's a D12.
Wait, where? Oh. Where's the 12? This one?
You need a 20, you just use a 12. There we go.
Wow.
Hey, okay. That's a 16 plus whatever your perception was. Should be pretty good for you, I think, being a druid.
Perception plus 2.
Okay, yeah. So, yeah, it's definitely a blue sky. There's nothing to see in the sky. Good job, everybody. We did it. Yeah, there's nothing in particular to see in the sky. It's just underground.
Have they both left the bar?
They are standing outside as you're probably just finishing up another drink.
Okay, so I stumble my way out the door.
Okay.
And I start walking down the street.
Okay. Where are you going?
Do a perception check also.
I'm going to, like, towards where the lady was running.
Okay.
Actually, no, the opposite way. I'm going the opposite way of where she was running.
Okay.
I'm gonna trail after him because I don't want him getting lost.
Okay. So you sort of like making your way. So you three trail off, I assume, everybody, in like a weird line led by this drunken human that's sort of like just bushing into people as he just like wanders past, unapologetically burping in the occasional person's ear, as I'm sure Aristo walks past and says, "I'm rather lanky."
Yes,
I'm rather lanky.
I'm still doing that.
Person. And then
Sometimes to the same people he burps at.
yeah. It's a sort of apology. And then Rigbin's following with like a hand still clapped to his mouth.
Yeah, I'm just following so
Nobody's
hand out my mouth.
that.
No one notices.
The hand, by the way, in terms of color, I'm trying to match the same hue of Rigbin's skin, so it kind of just looks like he has a weird, like, deformed lip.
Nobody wants to comment on it.
Exactly.
But occasionally people glance at you like, poor guy. Just walk up.
Poor ugly little gnome.
So you're skirting along the outskirts, wow, words please, just to this little town area. And seem to be wandering further just into the chaos as people are running around, not really sure what to do. The occasional person's like hiding under one of the stalls. Some of the people that were standing behind them now have left, and there's no one guarding the cakes anymore. And you're also just wandering around haphazardly. When the very center of the courtyard, the ground in the very middle, the stonework begins to crack and then bulge from the ground up as it keeps rising and rising and rising until eventually it just bursts. From this just hole in the ground, a gigantic head peeks through the floor. This thing is as big as the courtyard itself. It just like peers over and roars thunderously. I can't do roars. I'm not going to do roars. That'll do.
That was pretty good.
And this thing, instinctively, just locking onto multiple people around, begins to just devour people, mouthful by mouthful, just picking up like hordes of people and scooping them up.
Oh, it's a disembodied head?
Well, he's cute.
No, it's attached. It's just underground.
He's cute.
How is it getting? Is it just like slurping them up with its tongue? Or is it still like...
It can move a bit. It's not completely out of the ground. Yeah. It's sort of like pops through and it's just like swiping around, grabbing people.
And you said the cake stalls are unattended.
Yeah.
This is nature
That's
getting
right.
back at all you for eating the squirrels.
I'm sorry, what was that?
You hear just a squirrel. That's Ugana from his struggling.
Okay.
So, tell you what, actually, Aristo, before you act, can you do a Constitution saving throw? This is roll a d20 at your save.
Oh wait, hold on. I'm gonna...
It's all good.
3, plus, you said saving throw... Where is that?
Yep.
How do I do that? Oh, saving throw.
There's a different section. It should be on a
For
save,
Constitution?
Yeah.
0! I rolled a 3!
Yeah, so you're just taken aback by what's going on, like somehow directing your attention between this giant erupting monster and the cakes. And so you just forget that you're trying to concentrate on keeping this mouth clasped over Rubin's mouth, and it just fades into just like energy that dissipates.
Nature get back at you for the squirrels. There.
Hey,
I had to get it out.
Oh, that's what you were trying to say. You should have spoken up.
Folks?
Okay, I want to make my way to the nearest cake stall, and using both of my hands plus my mage hand, if I can, I want to scoop as much cake as I can into my inventory.
Before he...
Like however many pounds of cake and icing and pastries I can get.
As he starts walking away, though, I want to grab him, stop him, and I say to him, "You wanted an adventure? Here you go."
You get what you wish for.
I push him towards the head.
I turn around to him. I say, "I can have my cake and eat it too." But I say, but, you know, I straighten my robes and I say, "Well, all right. I take my first really good look at this beast, at this monster. So I'm gonna do a quick little sketch on the table so that I can kind of understand it. So we've got the courtyard. There was the stoneworks kind of ring thing, right, with the columns or whatever that was just the center of the town. And so now we've got this big dude's head just kind of
that, but yeah.
Okay, so it's more like, he's popping out. He's like, "Hey."
Yep.
Okay.
That's what he says. That's what he sounds like.
Hey. I okay, before I try to hit him or anything, keeping my distance, I say, "Hello. Who are you?"
God. Okay. This thing, now listening to someone calling it out, switches its attention straight to you. You get a good look at its face. It's like this big brown monstrosity, bigger than anything you've ever seen in your life. This thing is massive. Think Godzilla, but just its head right now. That's pretty much all you can see, but this thing is massive.
I'm very
It's brown. It's got... I'm real lanky. It just has horns and stuff, just accoutrements around its face of this like scaly brown skin. Almost dinosaur-esque. But yeah, it's massive, and it's now looking directly at you.
Like, were you talking this big or bigger?
You're just going to tell it that you're lanky. That's the plan.
Well, I ask it how it is first, but is this size, is this scale more or less, right? More or less?
Yeah, whatever. That's
Okay,
fine.
okay. I know theater of the mind and stuff, but I'm trying to get a good...
Yeah, no, it's cool,
Yeah.
it's cool.
Okay, so I ask him how... When he whips around after my question is when I shout, kind of quietly, "I'm very lanky." But before he turns around, I shout, it's like, "Hello, how are you?" So now I guess I'm awaiting his answer now that he's turned his attention towards me.
Its teeth gritted with just like you can hear faint screams from within its mouth. It sort of snarls and little like flecks of spit that would be small to his body size, but probably about as tall as you are, just beginning to just emanate from the front of its like sweet grill, and just starts to just cover all the stalls around you. Unfortunately, you're gnomish and human compatriots as well.
I yell out, "Is this part of the convention?"
And there from the background goes, "No! Run!"
Oh damn!
So his response was just a growl, right?
Yes.
Okay, I continue trying to reason with him. I say,
You sure you don't want to slap his ass?
I haven't seen it yet.
It's not part of the convention.
I look, I say, "I know that," and I turn up to him and I say, "What were you doing down there? In the ground, all buried."
It begins to move forward. It seems to be ripping the floor around as it sort of just slowly makes its way towards you. Its maw now beginning to crack open, and you just see like the occasional like torn off arm and leg, and maybe just like a pair of glasses or something on its giant tongue as it seems to be moving closer towards you.
So has it completely crawled out of this hole now?
Oh no, it's breaking the floor as it moves.
Like an icebreaker, like a ship just
Yes.
leaving a path. Okay, I take a few steps back.
Yeah.
I take a few steps back and I say, "You're not being very clear in your response."
It keeps moving forward, and all three of you, go on. Yeah, go on.
I'm going to shoot it with my longbow.
Okay.
In the eyeball.
Okay. Would you like to roll a d20 for me, and then add on your attack mod?
Okay, so hold on. So that's 13 and an attack mod. Where is that?
It should be a little combat bit. I haven't seen the character sheet you're actually using, but yes.
What are you looking for, Master?
Should be like
Alban?
it should say longbow, and then we like plus. What's your dex? Is it 2, 3?
It's +3.
So it should be a +5 to hit.
I don't see this.
So
For future reference, you might be able to hover over your weapon, because I think I did add some hover text. I'm not sure if the
just hover
weapons...
its weight.
Yeah, I don't think the weapons we have in our inventories have damages associated with them. At least
Oh, okay,
that
that's
I've
fine.
written down.
okay, no problem.
We do have all of our
So-
stats and everything, though. Relative
So
weights.
either way, it's basically if you've got proficiency with a weapon, you get +2 to the roll, and if you attack with a certain mod, you'll add that to the roll anyway. So it'll be +5 to hit. So what did you roll?
I rolled a 13.
Okay, so that's an 18 to hit. You draw back a singular arrow from your quiver, and just poise it, aimed drunkenly at this thing's face, and you shoot, and it seems to fly and get super close to its eyeball, and it blinks, and it hits this thing in the eyeball, and just explodes on impact, just as the wood splinters everywhere, and it does seemingly unaffected. It continues forward, more now open, chomping through the floor. It's going to try and consume you all. So all three of you do a Dex saving throw for me, which is roll a d20 and add your Dex save.
12. 12.
10 total.
Yeah, 10.
Okay,
Ha.
so all three of you just get eaten. Just straight up, no resistance.
Is that it?
It's over. Thanks for playing, everybody. You get eaten and sucked into this thing's gullet as it just like sort of playfully picks you up, sort of chucks its head up in sort of like a victorious conversation that clearly is this strange encounter it's just had, and you just begin to slide down its throat. Bit by bit, you seem to just slip in the saliva, passing by the hand and the feet, and you just fall further and further down.
Sie sind das Essen und wir sind die Jäger.
You fall into what you can only assume to be this beast's stomach, but you're in complete darkness at this point. There's still like just faint crying and occasional screams from other people that are still in here, but you're with this mortal.
I cast light on the lining of the stomach.
That's too big.
That's too big. Okay, I cast light on my hat.
Yep. Okay.
The next best thing, which is kind of like Gandalf-esque. Just normal white light so that we can see clearly. So, your hat begins to illuminate as you think about it, and ahead of you, you just see like this pink inner lining of this thing's stomach, this faint green acidic sort of stomach stuff that's all just like swamped with blood, and the occasional eyeball or something that's just like washing up on the sort of like the part of the stomach you're in, like the ocean would against a shore, just slowly creeping up closer and closer towards you. You're all very much intact, but you're certainly a little bit scared. Okay, I turn to whoever is alive in here and I say, "Does anybody have anything sharp? Pointy, lance-like?"
I have 2 short swords.
Would you be so kind as to make use of those on the wall? Thank you. Preferably near the floor to drain.
Yeah, we'll do that.
Okay, so you're going to roll, basically, you're not in like super confined combat, but this is how it's going to work in general. You're going to roll a d20 for each attack you're going to do, because it doesn't like a turn order, you can take 2, and just roll it twice, and add on the attack mod for your short swords as well.
Ooh, we don't
which again should be 5.
5, okay. So I roll 13.
Which is an 18, yep.
And then I roll again.
Yep.
And then I rolled a 15.
That's a 20. Yep. So you sort of following instructions from this very tall, lanky, apparently person.
Yes.
You whip out. You
Can we
whip out
add
2
that
short
I'm
swords.
sobering up now?
I think you should be, to be honest. And you just begin to like swing haplessly at this thing's stomach on the inside. And you swing once, and you strike it. You swing twice, and strike it again in like a sort of cross in its stomach. But it doesn't seem to respond to what you're doing at all. But I would like you to roll for damage. So very quickly, if you guys don't have damage listed for whatever reason, allow me to quickly check short swords. I think it's a d6.
I see on the skills on the character sheets where the damage and stuff was supposed to be.
But it's just not there.
we have stuff. We have hit dice if that's what you mean.
No, it's all right.
I was talking about attacks and spellcasting, that section.
Yeah, it's a d6, and it's add on your dexterity because it should be finesse. Yeah, it is. So you roll a d6 for the first hit.
What is that?
The 6-sided dice, the one that looks like a dice you see every day.
A cube.
That one.
That cube. Okay,
Roll
so
it.
we're gonna roll that.
That's a 6, and then add on your dexterity, which was plus 3. Yep. So you do 9 points of damage. And roll this second one as well for me.
4.
Okay, so that with the add-on as well. Yep, okay. Okay, so you just leave this little cross in this thing's stomach, but it doesn't really seem particularly bothered. And as you sort of stare at it, a little bit defeated at what just happened. The very inside of his stomach begins to glow ever so faintly, and the cross just seems to disappear against the lining.
Hey, squirrel freak.
What's up?
Why don't you do something?
Well, you're busy. It's kind of gross in here.
Standing there.
Well,
Rigvin, what is it you can do exactly?
No, what can you do?
that is a fantastic question. I have. Oh man, what can I do? I have a squirrel.
No need to rush. We're only digesting.
Oh, send the squirrel up, like, make it like climb up and like into its like brain or something.
You got it.
Chew on its
That's how
brain.
stomachs work.
Whatever. Get there.
All right, I tried a wild scheme. I talked to Daisy because I can do that.
Okay. So
I'd
she sort of
say-
squeaks.
Yeah,
Thank you.
like that.
Okay. Yep, like that.
I say go up somewhere near his. This guy says to attack his brain. I don't know if you can get there. Do whatever you can. Just get up to that head region.
She sort of unfolds her
wait.
arms.
If I may make a suggestion, Daisy, or Rigvin, could you relay this to Daisy? Instead of aiming for the brain, which we cannot access, aim for the uvula. It's like a little hangy thing. Make him throw us up. If you can.
That's a great plan. I've done that 4 times today. I can tell you, it definitely doesn't make you feel good. I try to explain to Daisy, but I'm trying to figure out the correct squeak for the word uvula. It's not what I had to use before. And I just go, ew, ew, which kind of translates to hanging mouth bulb. And
renewed with a sense of purpose, she leaps from your shoulder and begins to scurry along the wall, climbing up it just as like it would go up like a vert ramp at a skate park. She climbs up it without issue and seems to just disappear off into the darkness where the light of the hat can't reach. And you hear just from the faint distance like a faint, and then nothing happens.
Can I cast? How far can Mage Hand go? How far away am I from? How
I
far
think it's
away?
about 60 feet.
Would you say we're more than 60 feet from his
Probably
uvula?
about 50 feet from his uvula. Yeah, it's pretty far.
Okay.
This thing's huge.
And I can only do 1 cantrip per turn. Yes.
Yeah, it's like an action, but again, you're not in fixed combat right now, so you just kind of spitball, do what you like.
Okay, because what I want to do is I want to do a 1-2 punch. I want to tickle his uvula with the Mage Hand and or Daisy, and then cast Firebolt just straight down into the goo, or against the walls of his stomach, for maximum displeasure. I might light us all on fire.
You're gonna burn up all the
Okay.
oxygen and kill us.
You can do this. So we'll do the Mage Hand first. You get
Yeah,
that.
just Mage Hand for now, actually.
Okay. Do your Mage Hand then, and if you want to try and tickle this thing, sort of in its what was it? Mouth
Uvula.
bulb? No, mouth bulb.
Oh, hangy mouth bulb.
That's the one. The hanging mouth bulb. You sort of like cast up your hand and it sort of pops up again. It seems almost like a friend of the party at this point. It's been around so often in the brief minutes you've known each other.
Andy!
That's the worst name you could have chosen.
That's a questionable name.
Best name.
You like to be my friend Handy? Oh no. So it just instinctively seems to know what you want to do, and it means to just fly up and sort of like just out of vision. And you just hear like a faint. And
maybe add in a couple slaps too, like a
Oh.
just
Okay.
a couple. Make it more violent. I'm just trying to not necessarily tickle. I just want to agitate it as much as I can.
Okay.
I want
so
to
like think it's like a bop it. It's like slapping it, pulling it, twisting it, tickling
Exactly.
it, other things, but nothing seems to be happening. Sort of from the puddle of acid behind you, this figure propping itself up on like this old greatsword, sort of like decaying from this juice it's like flying, and it's like, that won't work.
Do you mind if we
all attack together? And it
Do you
stops.
mind if we borrow your sword?
He sort of like lifts up the sword as he's slowly just like falling, and you just see that the end of it's just like slowly dissolved away, and he just falls face first, just splash back into the acid, and his body begins to float away from you again.
Can I take it from him?
Do you want to go in the acid?
Oh, we're not in the acid.
You're just out of range right now.
Oh, we're in like a little stomach island.
Or
Stomach
You're
island.
like a beach. Yeah.
Okay.
Like a beach. Yeah, it's
Okay.
like just lapping the shores.
So I turn to my party and I say, well, I've had a wonderful idea. I think we should all attack together.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, are you going to follow this order from the scary elf man?
I'm very lanky.
No.
Roll for initiative! Yay! Right, so roll for initiative, roll a d20, everybody, and add on your dex mod.
Natural 20, baby. Dex 0, so 20.
20, babe.
16.
20.
Okie doke.
Okay, cool.
Well, I'm last. Okay, I'd like for Aristo and Elbin to both roll a d6 for me.
4.
Not 2.
Okay, that's fine. I'll just decide in order, that was all. Doo-doo-doo, doo-doo-doo-doo. Sorry, gotta write down everybody's name. And
You're good.
remember it.
So turn order is now me, Elbin, Rigbin.
That's correct.
Okay.
Also, anybody who is listening to the two people that are probably still here, it was apparently coincidence that they both had the names end in bin.
The bin
but
boys.
Here in the UK, a bin is what you would call like a trash can, so I hope that reflects how good their characters are in future.
It works on every level.
Perfect. Right, so yeah, what would you like to do, Aristo? Did you have turn order? You can do whatever you wish.
Okay, before I cast anything, I turn to Elbin and I say, look, I understand that you may not want to help us, but if you don't, you're a pansy. And I cast Firebolt. Oh, wait, because Elbin already struck at the stomach, right? What happened?
It healed.
It healed, okay. Regardless of that, I cast Firebolt, like, dead center as much as I can, right where, like, his 2 sword swings would have hit.
Okay, sure.
And
There's like a faint, like, red cross, like a recovering, like, scab.
Yeah, that's right in the middle.
Did it heal? Did it
It was after a brief moment of time, probably about, like, 25 seconds or so.
enough for a gnome to get through? Maybe.
It wasn't a gash, just so we clear.
Oh,
Just a little
Aw.
cross.
I wouldn't go in there.
Like you're thinking, though, boy.
So yeah, I cast Firebolt on it, I say, Elbin, try to hit that again, please. If you'd be so kind.
All right. Do you have the numbers on Fireball? Because I have them, but take me a second to grab them.
No, unfortunately.
It's all right. Uno momento, por favor. Which one was it? Sorry.
Firebolt.
Firebolt. Thank
Yeah,
you.
0 level sorcerer cantrip.
Cantrip. Yep. Okay. Okay. Roll a d20 for me.
1.
A natural one.
Natural 1. Do I get any
Okay.
modifiers?
Not on a natural one. That's something called a
Natural
critical fail.
Yeah.
And a critical fail is you instantly don't do the thing you wanted to do.
Yeah.
At my behest, you ramp up your hand, a regular hand, not a mage hand. What a surprise! And you sort of glows a faint, like red and orange color. And as you go to cast it forward, just at this cross, you just sneeze. You didn't expect it to come, but you just sneeze straight up and fire it between your own legs, and it hits the acid behind you, which just lights across the top. And this like sea of fire goes, or just like goes backwards. And the guy that like held himself up on the sword before, somehow still conscious, goes from under the water.
Throw me your sword!
He just begins to just like melt, and it seems like all the cabin's just like lighting up all the way back.
I meant to do that!
Perfect. Elvin,
Yeah.
what would you like to do?
I should have stayed at the bar. How far away is that throat ball hanging thing?
Probably about 50 feet. You'd have
Can
to
I
sort
hit
of
it
like,
with an arrow?
you could certainly try, but you have to roll with disadvantage. That means you roll a d20 twice, and you take the lowest number.
What do you guys think? Should we try it?
Considering the fact that striking the uvula would make him vomit, and we're surrounded by flaming acid, I would think it best not to do that. at the current moment.
This guy that
If you would be so kind.
that Aristo
Can we look around for any
is a
weak
bad
points?
idea.
Hang on.
Wait, what'd you say,
was that,
Rigman?
sorry?
Can we look around for weak points? Like weak spots?
You can in a second. Rigby, what did you say?
Oh, I said the guy that blew up in the fire behind us, God rest his soul, said that it was a terrible idea to do that. So probably
okay.
not.
Right, so you want to do a quick perception, is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, do a quick perception roll for me. It's a d20, add your perception skill. Everybody can if you'd like, just slot this in there.
6.
15.
7.
21.
Hey, right. So,
See
Aristo,
it all.
you're just recovering from that sneeze. You still feel it like lingering in your nose and your throat, and you're just sort of like, oh. But the
Thinking
rest
about
of you,
that squirrel dog.
oh baby, so good. But the bin people, the bin men,
Bin bros.
that's what we call people that collect like refuge technicians. If you
The bimbos.
Binbo's great. So yeah, you two basically notice that there's not a lot in here. It's pretty dark. There's just light being lit off this hat and this like faint glow of a hand slowly tickling a UV loaf ahead. But there's nothing else of seemingly any note. There's just a puddle of burning flames behind you, and then this like faint cross on the floor.
Oh,
Elbin.
that's great.
Your attack, my boy.
Oh man, I don't even know what to do at this point. Like he has no weak spots that we can see.
Well, it's not that you can see, no.
He does still have that, still kind of healing X. That's probably the best we have in terms of
Let's
weak
just all
spots.
Yeah,
I say that in
let's-
character.
We're
Let's
gonna
just
use
all hit
the
that.
2 short swords to try to hit that X.
Okay, you can do one because we're in combat and you don't have 2 attacks. You can use one sword to do it.
One. I guess we'll
Okay.
do one.
Roll to hit, my boy.
D20.
That's the one. And it'll be add 5.
17.
Okay. So you, renewed by the flames behind you, perhaps thriving in the chaos and the sobriety that's slowly overtaking you, you take up one of your swords and slash it back down onto this X on the floor. Can you roll for damage for me on that one again? D6, add 3.
We got a 4, 7.
Okay. 7 damage. Very nice. Okay. So yeah, you sort of slash and it sort of like, again, leaves this little rip in it, but it's not enough to squeeze through or to see. It's as if you just like cut your skin ever so faintly. But just inside its stomach, probably about like a foot wide.
Can we put the squirrel in it?
The squirrel's still hanging out with a mage hand, having a little tickle.
Damn.
Rigbin.
I slice the same exact spot with a scimitar.
Okay, so yeah, scimitar, I believe is D8. I'm trying to cast my memory back all the time. Oh, I've got too many books, and it was hidden. There you go, scimitar. Oh no, it's 1d6, so I'm thinking of a rapier. So yeah, roll to hit it first for me, which is D20, add your, I assume, proficiency, and dex, or strength, whichever is your highest. I'm not really sure.
They're both 0, so... 14.
Either or then.
14.
14, okay, yeah, you're gonna hit. So, could you then roll damage for me, which is 1d6, add nothing.
I don't know if that counts as a roll. Here. There we go. 1.
It's your boy, the beautiful one. So yeah, you strike almost exactly the same place that the bin boy did, and it's sort of like they sort of line up next to each other, but very faintly just start to glow once again. But it comes back around. Aristo, what would you like to do?
I cast Firebolt again.
Into the
This time, hopefully not between my legs.
Make an attack roll, please.
14.
Okay.
Do I add anything to that?
It'd be plus your intelligence.
Plus
I
my
believe, was it?
hell yeah, 18.
Okay. So yeah, you aim beautifully this time, recovering from your bout of sneezing, and just cast straight down on the faintly glowing mark, and it scorches the side. I'd like to roll 1d10 for me.
D10, that's this one.
That's your damage.
2.
Hey, it's your boy. Big old 2. Okay, yeah, so it sort of blasts the sides, and you see the fire sort of like crackle a little bit on the inside of one of the wounds. But that was a successful hit. Well done. Good job, you.
I'm
Excellent.
lanky.
So is this hole growing?
It seems to now just be slightly darkened, like sort of scorched by the flames, and then this it stopped glowing at this point, because that's what was happening before when he'd healed. But Elbin, you've got another attack roll right now.
Is there any way we could, like, Pokemon tournament our moves together?
What is that?
Like, I'm trying to think. Like, can Etheron's character
Aristo?
Stupid
Captain
name.
Lankey.
Aristo Strabifrastus Erythros, thank you.
Light the tip of one of my arrows on fire using
Ooh.
his hands, and then I can
Just
shoot it
rubbing them together?
I can
into the
produce
X.
flame if you can.
Or yeah, okay. Can we do that? Can somebody produce a flame so that we can light the arrow tip on fire?
Tell you
I
what,
can produce flame. I don't know if that works, but I can do it.
I'm going to stop you there, guys. I like where you're going, but there's also a giant flaming puddle behind you.
Yes.
Yeah, but we're shooting it into
What's the
hole.
problem?
What's the
Oh,
problem?
right, I can just stick the arrowhead in the flame.
Can we... Wait, also, with that, can we not just, like, chill out for a second, wait for the fire to eat through the stomach itself, or is that not going to happen?
It's like oil on water, like it's going
Okay, okay.
Okay, so can I take the arrow and dip it into the fiery acid?
You can.
Wait, don't dip it. Just kind of like hover it above.
Yeah,
No, what if we get some of the stomach acid on it as well?
Then you're gonna lose your arrow tip.
Jesus.
True. All right, we're gonna hover it over and catch it on fire.
All right, you catch it alight and you string it up.
We're gonna
Roll to hit
shoot
for
it.
me. Yep.
What am I rolling? A d20?
D20 and add your dex. Actually, add you to hit. Sorry, which was 5.
Okay, we got a 6,
Is that a 6 total or an 11?
11.
Okay. I'm not feeling like a bad guy, so yeah, you hit that. Why not? Woo! Woo! So you sort of tenaciously and maybe a bit foolishly reach one of your hands out, grasping the flames of an arrow, and you instantly just like whip it back into your bow, trying carefully not to like singe the sides of it, and you release and it fires off. And it hits exactly where you're aiming, right in the center of this cross that you slowly just attacking. And the scorch marks seem to just like reignite slightly as cinders begin to just crackle off of the arrow that begins to slowly just set alight completely. And you realise you have just got a little bit of a mark on your bow, but you do hit it. Great job. Roll for damage for me. Your longbow. Oh gosh, so many books.
1.
Is it a short bow or a long bow?
It's a longbow.
Okay.
So you have proficiency.
Yeah, you should have proficiency anyway. Yeah, it was a D8 you had to roll, but 1's fine if you're okay with the 1. Hey.
Sure.
So yeah, you sort of hit and it seems to reignite again. Rigbin,
Yeah.
what would you like to do? Yeah, it's your turn.
I thought we
Get us out of here.
no.
I miss my father.
I kind of like it.
You sure about that, Elbin?
First things first, I call back Daisy because
Okay.
I'm feeling confident. I'm feeling confident that this
useless
hit's going
up
to
there.
do it.
All right. With a click and a whistle, she begins to scurry back down this thing's throat, sliding over the last bit of its tongue. It goes whee.
Oh. Okay, I do a little slicey slice down on the exact same spot.
All right, roll to hit.
Roll to hit.
I realize I haven't really been talking to chat a lot so far. I don't know if anybody's still here,
Plus,
but I appreciate you guys watching.
I don't
This
think it
is very
matters.
fun.
4 plus
Very
like
fun.
2.
You go to strike, and like the fire just puts you off, and you just freeze. He's like, maybe not. And again, the very base of it begins to glow again, and you guys just face this thing. It doesn't have enough time to heal anything, but it's still just glowing ever so slightly. Let's run it back, everybody. Aristo, what do you want to do?
Okay. I don't have a whole lot of options beyond Firebolt.
It's like the fire is stopping it
Ooh.
from healing.
Wait a second. Actually, no, that's
True,
dumb.
true.
I was gonna
Is that true?
No, it's not true.
Ah.
Oh,
Really, this is literally just out of everything. This is just a way to introduce you all to combat. Okay, this thing is meant to be easy to hit, and all you got to do is everybody needs to hit it in the same turn.
It's a
That's it.
wall. It's pretty
So-
elusive.
It's pretty hard.
Haven't we all hit it in the same turn?
Nope.
no.
No,
Oh my God.
I got that
Miss,
critical
hit,
miss.
Hit, miss. So yeah,
Wait, did Rigbin hit anything on his last turn?
No.
Dang it!
the one just fine now. No.
Right.
The
Okay.
last turn I did. This turn I didn't.
Okay.
You missed the first time.
So
What's the pick the most accurate
Just gotta hit
thing
it.
you have?
I just cast Firebolt again, but this time I do it with jazz hands. I go. Ha!
Okay. You regain a bit of your confidence. Roll to hit for me. I'm lowering the AC every turn, guys. Don't worry. Easier.
That would be an 8 plus anything? Intelligence, right? Because it's magic? So 12.
8 plus 3?
Because that's 11, but I'll give you anyway.
No, intelligence is plus 4 for me.
Okay.
Oh, okay. I'll take it back. Yep, you hit. So you just fireball, and it smacks. The firebolt, excuse me, it just smacks off on the thing, and it glows slightly. Elvin.
I'm gonna hit it with one of my swords, I guess.
Okay. Give it a roll, my boy.
I guess I'll hit it.
Got 14.
Hey, you hit easily. You slash it. Rigbin.
I'm scared.
I'm not rolling for damage.
At this point, it doesn't matter.
I slightly uncharacteristically lean in and whisper, "Don't mess this up for us, noob."
What do I add?
That is a 9, and you add nothing. But I'm feeling generous enough
Thank the gods!
to give you the 9 with a final slash, and
17.
That's way better. So with a final slash, you just like sweep your tiny gnomish arm and just like smack this thing a little bit with the scimitar. And as you do, this thing begins to growl audibly. It seems to rumble straight through its stomach and up to where you are. The fire from behind the acid just slowly just fades with a gust, and the acid begins to bubble and bubble higher. And you get just thrown up out of this thing's mouth. You just thrust forward out of its teeth and just end up on the floor of the courtyard you were in before. And this thing now, a little bit uncomfortable, staring down at you, but also feels some kind of strange bonding with Rigbin. In throwing up with each other, but that's fine. What do you folks want to do?
Pals.
Okay, so would this creature be pretty damaged by all the crap we just did in his stomach, or is he still kind of in a fighting mood?
Yeah,
or is he kind of noticeably injured from all of this?
It now just looks angrier than it was before. Slightly more of it's emerged from the ground underneath as well. It's sort of now poking up with its front arms on its upper body. Sort of.
We're not in direct combat anymore or whatever, right? Like strict combat or whatever.
It depends what you want to do. If you want to stay in combat, you certainly can.
Okay, I run over to the nearest cake stall and start.
No. Okay.
I want to get him. I want to seize the opportunity. Carpe diem, carpe cake.
No, let's take this thing out. If we don't do it now, it's just gonna come back to haunt us later.
But then people are gonna notice when I take the cake afterwards.
Also, I mean,
they will reward you with cake.
let's use our brains here, though. We just ripped open its stomach, and it just got more angry.
Well, duh.
And you, okay.
I'm going to run. I'm gonna parkour my way up to its skull and dig my short swords into its brain.
Okay, can you all roll a perception check for me?
Yeah.
Is it D20?
Yep, D20, add your perception.
I got a 14 plus 2, 16.
Yep, you good?
20 here.
You good?
Oh, oops. Where is it? There it is.
Hey.
20!
Here are the rolls, there we go.
Whatever.
So, as you're determined to try and take this thing down, you realise there's a group of adventurers, clearly more experienced than you are, trying to fight it. There's a man sort of holding off one of its legs, just with his shield, another sword, just slashing at its feet. And there's people up above you on flying carpets, circling it from above, trying to rain down arrows to try and hit it. And you sort of stop yourself before you run recklessly at this thing that's clearly being attacked. And you just hear the guy who's wrestling with it, shield against its foot, just "Run, you fools!"
I run to the nearest cake stall.
No,
You run to the cake stall.
And I take my mage hand and my mage's hands, and I start scooping as much cake as I can into my bag.
Roll a sleight of hand check with disadvantage, because you're doing way too much at once. Let's see what you get.
Okay, so that's a d20. That'll be a 7 plus sleight of hand, which is 0.
Roll again to see how bad it can get.
19! Plus 0 would be 19.
90. Okay, yeah, you take the 7. So you sort of try to grasp at these cakes, and you manage to pick up handfuls of Victoria's sponge, the lightest you've ever felt, and just destroy the rest. just somehow this perfectly held stall is now just being ransacked by a crazy elf man.
But I did get some.
You got a handful of Victoria's sponge, jam leaking from your palm.
I'm fine. That's all I wanted.
Can we tell the other group of players that like we don't want to just leave them here? Like, what can we?
That's a good idea, Kobe Clips.
The guy seemingly ignores you. He literally just enforcing you to run, and he's trying to fight this thing off as best he can as a rain of arrows still continues to come down. And one of the people on one of the flying carpets stands up, readies a particularly impressive looking firebolt, and throws it down. With pinpoint accuracy, it hits this thing in the face, but as it's just approaching its sort of like its left eye, the entire fireball stops and goes straight back at him. It catches this guy in the air, square in the jaw, and this dude falls from this flying carpet straight to the ground, and his body just explodes all over the courtyard.
I don't want to fight this guy.
Where's the carpet going?
It's just like it's circling around it. There's other people on the carpet still.
Oh. Okay.
I still want to run up it.
You do.
You want to do it like Attack on Titan style.
Yeah.
Wait! Maybe Attack on Titan style is what we need to do. Slice in the back of the neck. A little Aaron Yeager will pop
man,
out.
Let's try that.
Okay, hold on.
Your entire party now seems resolute on attacking as if from some magical place. 2/3, and a very imposing woman approaches from the ramp down towards the dock area, and she says, "I would do that if I were you."
Yeah.
Why?
I agree.
You
Okay.
don't want to know.
Does she wait? Okay, guys, I'm getting the feeling that we really aren't supposed to fight this thing.
Yeah,
So you wanna, like,
which
Is there
signal?
boats? Can we just like leave?
Are there any other cake stalls?
No.
No, they've all been destroyed.
Oh.
I set the squirrel dog stand on fire with
You do that?
produce flame.
Is
Yeah,
the
you-
tavern still around?
No, the tavern has also been destroyed.
Okay. I would like to propose to
Hello. I would like to
Hey.
propose that we make a tactical retreat.
About time you came to your senses.
I take a pinch of the handful of cake I have, I put it in my mouth like dip, and I say,
What?
come along, and I just beeline towards the dock. Actually, no. I rescind that statement. With the
Okay.
cake in my mouth, still in the place where I was, I turn to the people who are currently fighting this big bad, and I say,
Are you taking applications?
Not
Just-
in a minute!
Stop reading your Twitch chat.
now I beeline to the docks.
You run away. Rigbin, I assume, follows. Elbin, what are you doing?
I guess I'll go to the dock.
Do you want to? You can fight it if you want. I won't
I'm
stop you.
not gonna fight it alone. I'm already
Okay.
at 8 hit points.
Yeah, you are. You got slapped on the ass. Yep. So you just about face and start running, and then the guy that was fighting just remarks just from the distance that was a good idea, and you just start to sprint
Thank
towards the docks. The woman that told you not to fight it is just walking extremely calmly away from the situation and towards just this old boat just off the side.
I want to talk to her.
Trust this woman, man.
Yeah.
I don't
So-
trust.
Don't
I
like it.
I don't trust her
Creepy old
either,
lady
but I want to
walking
talk to
towards
her.
An old creepy boat. Oh.
She's not an old lady. She's an imposing old. She's a budding lady, not an old one. But yeah, you guys sort of like funnel down this little path as it goes down a hill and towards this like wooden platform. You do recognise because you all came by boat to get here before. And Doc's still there. That there's like just like a very pristine looking boat. There's a very old looking boat that this woman's walking towards, and then there's just a tiny little like regular wooden boat with some paddles. That's all that's docked there.
Let's take the boat.
I shout out to the
Say, excuse me, miss. Hello.
She
Trying to-
stops.
trying to
doesn't
get her
turn around.
attention.
I say, oh, okay. Who are you exactly?
She sort of barely glances ahead to the left to sort of look over her shoulder to look at you.
Can we
and just
shoot an
sort of
arrow at this girl?
Oh my god.
she says, "Is it really the time to ask that?" And then continues to walk away.
I mean,
If you wanna fire an arrow,
thing
you
is
can.
behind
Let's just
us.
follow her.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I continue to follow her. I'd take
Okay.
I cast Mage Hand and have it slide under my hat and make it look like it's kind of hovering above my head.
Why?
Is your hat still glowing?
Yes. Actually, well, can I cast multiple, like...
Is your hat still glowing?
Yes.
Yeah, is your light on?
Yeah. Are cantrips
what's he doing?
concentration?
I'm just going to assume and speak for him. Yes, it is. So now a floating hat that's glowing brightly is just following you guys along.
Not off my head. Just
she
like
approaches the gangplank
an inch.
towards this very rickety old ship, and just seems to be walking up towards it without much care in the world. It looks like it should be breaking under her weight, but it's just not. She's just walking up it like it's nothing at all.
What, is she
You other
fat?
guys like to follow her? No, she's not fat. She's imposing. She's quite broad, quite strong looking.
Keep
But
making all these assumptions about it. Just
Okay,
I shout out to her. I say, excuse me, miss. We meant to follow you. Are you leading us, or are we just kind of being slightly weird?
she gets to the top and still doesn't turn around, but just sort of shouts back toward you folks. Just, you can stay here and die if you like.
nah. I don't want to. I go
What-
without asking
what-
any questions.
Perfect.
you know, I do the same thing. I just say,
Oh, at least I have my cake.
and I go on board. How big is
Okay.
the ship that we're getting onto?
It's like a large ship, like a proper
yes.
naval vessel sort of thing. It's huge. It's got a couple of cannon holes, but no cannons filling them out.
Okay.
Not,
Is there-
not cannon holes, like cannon flaps. I don't know what they're called. Where the cannons would come out of, those sorts of things.
Is
I
there...
sit in the cannon hole?
Okay.
Cannon flaps. I hang on
Cannon
a little bit.
Okay. Do that.
Is there any sort of crew visible?
There's a couple of people just sort of cresting the
Wait.
gangplank. There's a couple of people walking around.
Does this ship have a captain?
The ship does have a captain, yes.
I think it's the lady.
Who is this ship's
Yeah,
captain?
wait, who's the captain?
Is the question.
Could you do a
Because-
perception check for me?
1 second.
D20, add your perception.
And we can all contribute to that,
Yeah,
right?
I'll do it, no problem, yeah.
Where's my
I don't know, 12.
21.
10?
21.
Wait,
Okay.
perception
Or 10, never mind.
11.
Because what I thought here is that I used to be a pirate.
Yep.
So I could what if this
You
guy
were.
is the guy that I know? Like, what
It's
if
a
this
girl
guy-
we've been talking to.
So,
This is the girl new.
you recognise that this ship is a pirate ship, but you're trying to scour the place to find the captain, and you can't see anyone that would resemble such a thing. Like, this woman's the nearest thing you can see, but judging by her physique and sort of like the clothes she wears, she's not like a regular pirate.
Ah, she's a
She doesn't seem
whore.
to be. So many assumptions.
Oh.
So, and then Aristo also seems to be scared and can't find anything. But Rigbin, with his unique point of view so close through the cannon flaps near the floor, he sees a sleeping large human man with a big bushy beard on the very floor next to a table with just a plenty of barrels just strewn around him, some empty, some seeming to be full. And he's just snoring, wearing a very pointy tricorner captain's hat.
Boy, he's really drunk like I was. I must know him. Let's go. Back.
You haven't seen him yet, just do it all right.
Let's just go and wake him up.
If Rigbin would like to share this information.
I share this information. Yes. I
Good.
choose to.
Okay.
All right, let's go wake him up.
Wait, Matt, you have to. You still haven't gotten on the ship, Albin.
I'm on the ship.
He's on the ship.
Now he's on the ship.
Okay. So,
Wake him up.
so you sort of approach. You leave this woman behind. She doesn't even care. She's just wandering off in the other direction now. You sort of walk up to this table out of place on like the deck, and there's this guy just sleeping behind it, snoring. He's like, it's sort of dribbling a little bit out of the side of his mouth. What do you want to do? You can try and wake him up. Yeah. Do you want to do that?
I cast Mage Hand and I try to pick his
No.
nose a little bit.
No, you're not.
Your
smart.
mage hand is already cast, carrying the light
Right.
of your hat. So
I dispel light, by the
Well,
way.
let's dump a bucket of water on him.
okay. Rigbin
Oh, so
pokes-
Mage Hand is too much.
Rigbin pokes him, and he sort of stirs a little bit and rolls over, and then Elbin, with his knowledge of ships, goes and finds the rope that descends down to the sea, and just starts to hoist up a little bucket of water. As the light fades from the hat, the hand dissipates momentarily, and then just a gush of water just splashes over him, and this sleepy pirate sort of go, what? Who goes there?
I scuttle off to hide behind a barrel.
I'm a pussy.
So he sort of sits up, like neat, like legs still crossed across the floor, spins around childishly, and puts either arm on top of the table and sort of pulls himself up, and very just like comfortably, he's like, "What do you want?"
So are we above decks or
You're
in the
on
ship?
the deck. You're on the main deck.
He
So
was
at this
he was
point-
asleep on the main deck. Okay.
Yes.
Do I know this captain from my years of pirating experience?
No.
No.
Okay. I from behind my barrel, I shout,
Hello, who are you?
From behind the barrel.
yeah, from behind the
Just,
barrel.
Off
The tip of my hat slightly poking up into view.
character. Are we close to wrapping this up?
Yeah, don't worry, I'll give you in just a second, buddy. I know you know how much time. So, this gent sort of stares oddly at this barrel. What did you just ask him? Did you ask who is he?
Just some pleasantries. Hello, how are you?
Okay, he's like,
Who are you?
doing alright, Mr. Barrel.
I can see you're drunk. That's all right.
Don't say that. We don't know this guy.
I mean it as a compliment. Heavens.
No, that's not. Let's tell him about the giant, creepy Attack on Titan monster,
Yeah, see if he
The
knows
village?
anything about that.
and tell him to sail us away from here.
Okay.
Say, where did that lady go, by the way? Has she just kind of
Who
disappeared?
cares?
She just wanders off inside the ship onto one of the little cabins above there.
What do you mean, who cares? She's this mysterious. Oh,
She's
follow me onto my ship.
We'll figure it out.
Assuming it's her ship. Yeah, first she's fat, then she's a whore, then it's her ship.
First, she's
Yeah, why do you think she went below decks?
all right. Let's tell him about the monster.
She's
Okay.
in her own barrel.
So, regurgitating between the three of you, you're just piecing together words that oddly come out, and he's just hears like, monster, sail, and then just weird little words that get lost in his drunken mind, and he's like,
Squirrel, uvula.
squirrel, uvula, yeah.
Regurgitation.
He's like, regurgita, what now? And then he sort of like slams his hands on the table and stands up, and he's like, where are we going? Jimmy! Get the whipstaff in shape! Let's get out of here! And with that, I am actually going to end it with a pirate standing, commanding a mysterious Jimmy, which is obviously the important thing I want you to take away from this, to man the whipstaff and sail you away from
The mysterious
Sloth
Jimmy. What about the lady?
Yeah,
Maybe that's
better.
Jimmy.
Less mysterious than Jimmy.
That's way better than what I had. No, that's fine. So there we go. Yeah, there you go, folks. That's a D&D session.
Well done, Jackson. Thank you for including the characters that tell us where to go when we're being stupid.
Yeah, this is why I want it to be free reign, and I've got a very loose story, and whether you stick to it or not, it's up to you. But it's sort of just free reign. But I kind of have a couple of people telling you what to do in case you're a bit confused, because you are new at this, of course. So
Yeah, the guy in the stomach made me laugh.
you're welcome.
By the way, you're all stupid.
Yeah.
So in another month or so, I'm sure we'll pick this back up.
Ideally next week. I personally don't have anything happening next Monday that I believe
That's
will
right,
take my schedule. But that was pretty good. That was pretty fun. I can't wait to do it again.
Hopefully you had fun, yes, folks.
Are we at all? Have we gained any sort of meaningful experience from throwing a bunch of stuff in the stomach of a
Okay.
giant?
Transparency with me as a DM, I don't generally give experience per thing that happened. It's generally just per day. So when the day ends, you'll sort of get experience. I'll imagine that will be telling you when you actually do gain a level, but numbers and stuff aren't so important to me. So,
Okay.
so
Yeah,
no,
I was just
right now,
wondering.
But, that's all
All
good.
right. Yeah, that works. Cool.
Well, sounds good. Thank you to our awesome DM.
Thank you for playing, folks. It's been fun.
Thank you to everyone who was watching. Also, I think
With
I'm
that-
probably gonna wrap it up here.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.